Hello everybody, 'tis the Amazing Gaming Guy here, and welcome back to Planet Coaster, where we are continuing with our Dueling Dragons build. Now, just a really quick recap, if this is the first video in the series that you've seen, we are building a dueling coaster in a Japanese style, dueling coaster being two roller coasters that intersect and have a sort of synchronized ride layout, and they sort of pass each other and, do some loops and versions of stuff together. It's really cool. There's a few of them in the world. There's one at, I think, Universal Studios Orlando. I think they've rethemed. That used to be called Dueling Dragons, hence the name of this coaster. But it's not actually called Dueling Dragons anymore, that one. It's Dragon Challenge or something. It's part of the new Harry Potter world. So this time on our build, we are going to be building the village, or at least starting the village that will make up this area of the ride. Because, we got the big ride sort of over there in the distance, and this whole area is going to be a traditional Japanese village with very traditional looking architecture. They're going to be houses that are very rustic looking. There's lots of wood. There's lots of sort of plaster or lime on the buildings. Just trying to make it look really authentic. Now, I had a conversation with Joe, if you remember Joe, who I do some of my Minecraft building with, particularly the Steampunk City. So if you enjoyed that one, yep, that's Joe. And I was talking to him about this, and he was saying, so far in this build, because he's been watching some of the series, so far in this build, the colours have been very bright. They've been too bright for Japan, and I completely agree with him. And I think there was a comment as well at some point saying that it's actually looking more Chinese than Japanese. Typically, Chinese architecture has a lot of colour, a lot of golds, a lot of reds, even greens, and just just a lot of colour, any colours really, but particularly golds and reds. And although that is a factor that's present in Japanese architecture, it's not as prominent as it is in Chinese. It features more in terms of very special places in Japan, whereas in China it's... I mean, obviously, in sort of poorer rural areas, it's going to be... you're going to have all the same sorts of materials, just woods and maybe stone and that sort of thing, so that's not going to be brightly coloured. But like, where there is wealth, there is colour, and in Japan that's not so much the case, from what I know. Obviously, I've never been to Japan and I don't live in Japan, so if I'm wrong, I'm very sorry, and I'm sure there is an expert somewhere who will correct me very quickly, but from what I can tell, it looks like Japanese architecture is a lot more muted in its colours, apart from features like the torii gates, which are obviously sort of bright red, and some temples and shrines which have more colour. So that's what I'm really trying to keep to in this village. I'm trying to bring it away from too Chinese in style, and I'm trying to make it look a little bit more Japanese through my use of more traditional materials, woods and sort of mortar and stuff, and more traditional colours of material. So it's really more the base wood. It's not painted, it's not gold or red, it's very very as it comes, very basic colours. Now, what you can see I'm doing right here is actually putting shops inside some of the buildings, or this first building, and I'm going to be doing this for other buildings as well, because I want them to have a purpose and a function in the park. It's all very well making buildings that look nice and are attractive to look at and stuff, but like, I want this to be a functional park. I've said this all the way through when I was building the Alpine Adventure Coaster as well, the Alpine Rush. I want this to be a park that I can use, and then I can eventually release onto the Steam Workshop for you guys to use and play and build and expand upon. So I'm really trying to make each building have a function as well as looking nice. Because you'll notice this is challenge mode as well. I'm not in sandbox, I don't have unlimited money, so everything I'm building's got to have a function, got to have a purpose, so that I can bring in the money and also make it a functional park. I'm sort of trying to go for the sort of Disneyland approach, or the Disney World approach, where you have Main Street and stuff in all their parks, but Main Street looks really nice, it looks really cool, but a lot of those buildings are also functional. A lot of them are shops and sort of information centres, and they're not just sitting there looking pretty, they're there for a reason as well. So that's something I'm really trying to implement in this park too. Okay, so I'm now moving on to another building here. I wanted to have some variety of heights and stuff in this village and in this area of the park. So yeah, I've raised the land that I'm building this new building on. It's going to be larger than the other one. I've not yet thought of a function for this building. I might put some shops in it or something, or some ATMs into the wall or something, but I haven't actually done that yet. This one, having just said all of that stuff about buildings need to be functional and stuff, this one doesn't actually have a function yet, but I will try and work one out, and if you guys can think of anything that this building would be good for, then let me know in the comments and I'll do that. But I couldn't think of one whilst I was making it, because it's it's raised up, it's a bit difficult to get a path to, so I don't really want people to go inside the building, so maybe I'll just embed some ATMs in the wall or something, something simple like that. So I wanted this one to look a little bit different to the other one. I wanted it to be a larger building, so I've put this sort of open porch area on the front with some pillars to hold up the roof. And yeah, I'm using the same sorts of materials. It's woods and stone and sort of mortar. Trying to avoid too much colour, like I was saying earlier on. I don't want it to look too Chinese in its sort of cultural appearance. It needs to be Japanese, and that means more muted colours, more natural colours, natural wood, natural coloured mortar and that sort of thing. So that's really what I'm trying to go for here. Now, I've been struggling with building the roofs, because what I ideally want is to have the sort of the turn-ups at the edges of the roof. I'm not sure what they're actually called. I should look that up, really. Do your research, Harry. Yeah, I want to put those in, but they're difficult because there's no piece really that I've found so far that actually works as the sort of turn up bit, and I know that I can do it custom. I can build them up with individual pieces, and I still might go back and do that if I can make one sort of piece that works for the corner. Then I can just copy it across and do it on loads of different buildings. But the issue I have is I want this to be a functional park, as I was saying, and by using loads and loads and loads and loads of pieces like that to make incredibly detailed things, the frame rate's just going to tank. It's not gonna be playable, and I really want this to be a park that I can play and you guys can play. So whereas that does look really good, and other big Planet Coaster YouTubers do that, like Silverette and Delay Designer, who are amazing, and I have total respect for the things that they build and the things that they make, I want this to be a functional park, so I'm not sure if I'm going to go down that route just yet. If I can find a way of doing it without too many pieces, then I will go for it. I need to check out Sylv's videos again, because he's done a Japanese style build and he did those sort of turn up corners, and I might try and take some inspiration from him. It's not copying, it's inspiration. But yeah, I can't promise that I'll be able to do that, because I want to keep this park functional. Okay, so I've actually got something I want to ask you guys about. This park because I'm building all of these new sort of Let's Build videos in the same park, I feel like it needs a name. I think this park needs a name and a theme of its own, rather than just these separate areas. And I can't think of one personally myself, and I was wondering if it would be a good idea to throw that out to you guys, see if you can think of a name for this park. So far it's had like completely different themed areas, so it's not got one sort of individual theme, although I guess technically it could be like different areas of the world, because we've got this Japanese area and we've got the Alpine area, so perhaps that's a route we could go down in terms of naming it, like, you know, different areas of the world, different cultures, that sort of thing. I'm not sure. I've got no names so far. I cannot think of a thing. If you guys have any ideas, just shout them out in the comments, and I'll take them all into consideration, and I'll reply to your comment and be like, yeah, great idea, or no, terrible idea. No, I wouldn't say that. I would be very, very respectful, even if your idea is awful. But yeah, we could do it the same way that we did the Alpine Rush naming. I asked you guys each episode to think of some names, and then I'd read them out in the next episode, and we get to talk about them and stuff. I think that would be a good way to do it. So back to the build itself, I'm putting some lights and lanterns and stuff on this house, I guess it is. Or hall, I'm not really sure what this is. Maybe it's like a community building. Yeah, and just adding these sort of canopy things as well, trying to make it look more detailed, you know, just adding detail, adding interest to it, and now of course going around with rocks and stuff, trying to build this up, because I wanted it to look like it's sort of on a rocky platform rather than just the earth rising in this strange little rectangle with its glitchy little edges. Yeah, so trying to make it look rocky and built into the landscape and stuff. I'm now going to put some trees and foliage around it, try to really blend it with the natural environment around it. Now, I'm being very careful with my choice of trees in this build so far. I'm trying to go for bushes that have some colour, so this red bush with the red flowers and berries and stuff on it, and the little purple bushes, and also these ironwood bushes which have sort of pink leaves. They're sort of standing in for the sort of sakura colour, the cherry blossom, the pink and stuff. And I'm also, in terms of trees, I'm also going for birch trees and these big crimson king trees. Those are the sort of purple ones, and also these smaller red ones. It's a bit annoying that there's no sakura tree in Planet Coaster at this point in time, but I'm just sort of making do with these coloured trees, and I think they're working. I think they're kind of filling the place of the sakura, because, you know, there's sakuras, it only blossoms in the spring anyway, so it's not always, you know, beautiful pink colours. It's a certain seasonal thing. So I'm just going around at night time, putting in some lights. I'm trying to put in some nice spotlights to highlight areas of interest, such as the Torii Gate and these buildings, and also just to give it a little bit more interest to the trees and stuff as well, give them some uplighting in different colours. Now I'm moving on to something else. I'm building a little shrine in the centre of the town here, just because I wanted to have a little bit of a building in this area, but I didn't want it to be too big, because I wanted to still have good views of the coaster from this part of the path. So I just wanted to build something very small, and a little shrine seemed like the best thing to go for. Now, I've had to do this almost completely customly, in terms of using materials such as, you know, these steps and stuff, and using woods, planks and things to actually create walls. I've not really been able to use many wall pieces on this structure, because it was a very difficult shape, and you'll see in a minute why. So yeah, I had to go almost completely custom with this, using these little pieces with the sort of support areas to make the base of the shrine itself. This was very improv, this structure. I'm not sure how accurate this is to real life shrines in Japan. It's my interpretation of one. I was looking at reference images and pictures and things, but I didn't have the right sort of shape of space here to make something that looked exactly like any of the images. So I've definitely gone for my own design here. And again, perhaps I've added a little bit too much color in terms of the reds and things that I've used, but I do want to make this area quite vibrant and interesting, as well as being accurate. So I'm trying to balance it, you know. I'm trying to have a balance between the bright red colours, bright gold colours, but also the traditional woods and mortars and things. I'm just trying to get that balance right. And I'm still unsure about the colours of the coaster over there in the distance. Should I keep it red and gold like that, or should I go to a different colour scheme? Let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm torn at the moment. I'm not entirely sure. But what I do know is that I'm actually really liking how this build is turning out. Although I'm not sure about the colours and things, I really do like the things that I'm building and the style and the area. I think it's going to be really beautiful when it's done, and I hope you guys also think the same. I hope you guys are enjoying watching this develop. I'm sure enjoying making it. It's really good fun. I think I'm possibly enjoying this even more than I was enjoying the Alpine Adventure build, and I was enjoying that one quite a lot. So yeah, onwards and upwards. So now I'm really getting into the custom part of this shrine. I couldn't find any actual wall pieces to fit this area, so I really had to make it up as I went along, using more custom pieces, wooden planks and things. These big wooden planks are very helpful actually for, you know, creating walls and things. And then I went through with just some little wooden planks as well, just to give some variety of colour, and also to make the little gap there between the two sort of triangular pieces, to fill that gap, just so that I've got, you know, something there. I don't want to keep that open, and also it gives a lot of texture and stuff to it as well. I'm not going to be doing a huge amount of these sort of custom things, as I was saying earlier. I don't want to make the park too laggy, because I want to be able to play it. So yeah, this will be one of very few sort of custom structures in terms of, you know, really using intricate little planks and things to create walls and stuff. I want to avoid that where I can. Obviously, in some places it's going to be necessary, such as this bit, and I won't shy away from it if I need to do it. Now I've just raised this up a little bit and put some rocks around it and some lanterns, and I'm just going to put some trees around it in a moment, but I just wanted to have a little experiment with some sort of different coloured fabrics and things. I was thinking maybe I could put some on some buildings, and I tried putting a few on here, and I quite like how they looked, although I'm not going to put too many around, because again, getting a little bit too Chinese if I add too much colour. I want to keep it a Japanese style. So guys, that is just about all we have time for today. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, please give it a like, comment and subscribe if you haven't yet, and send in your name suggestions for the park itself. I want to see them, and all that's left to say is thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.